What if the line between good and evil was thinner than you think? What if you, yes, you, were just one voice of authority away from becoming a monster? In 1961, a quiet Yale professor proved something terrifying, and most people still haven't heard the full story. It's called the Milgram experiment, and it shocked the world, literally. Psychologist Stanley Milgram set out to understand how ordinary people could take part in unspeakable horrors, like those committed during the Holocaust, or when Iraqi soldiers buried Kurdish children, women, and men alive during the Anfal campaign. What he discovered was more disturbing than anyone expected. Here's how it worked. Two strangers walk into a lab. One is the teacher, the other is the learner. But what the teacher doesn't know is that the learner is an actor. The real test? How far would someone go just because an authority figure told them to? The teacher's job was simple: administer an electric shock every time the learner got an answer wrong. It started at 15 volts, then 30, 60, 120, all the way up to 450 volts. And when the learner screamed, begged to stop, or went silent, the authority figure calmly repeated, "Please continue." The experiment requires that you continue. You have no other choice. So how many people stopped? Only a few. 65% of participants obeyed all the way to the end, delivering what they believed was a potentially lethal shock, even though they were sweating, shaking, some even laughing nervously. They kept going. Why? Because obedience is more powerful than we think. And inside that obedience lives a silent killer: emotional instability. But that wasn't the only time good people went dark. Just 10 years later, another experiment pushed things even further. In 1971, psychologist Philip Zimbardo created what looked like a simple simulation. He built a mock prison in the basement of Stanford University and recruited 24 volunteers, college students, all mentally healthy. They were randomly assigned to be either guards or prisoners. There were no real rules, just roles. But what happened next shocked even the researchers. Within 24 hours, the guards began to assert dominance. Push-ups, restricted bathroom access, numbers instead of names. By day 3, it spiraled into psychological torture, sleep deprivation, solitary confinement, humiliation. Some guards invented cruel punishments on their own. Some prisoners broke down. One begged to leave, crying uncontrollably. The experiment, meant to last 2 weeks, was shut down after just 6 days because it had become too real. So what changed? Nothing but the situation. When people feel uncertain or emotionally unstable, their judgment collapses. They stop trusting themselves, they look for direction. And when authority steps in, it feels like importance. One Milgram participant said, "I'm just the instrument, it's not my responsibility." That's how good people become monsters, not because they want to cause harm, but because they surrender the wheel. But here's the twist. When just one person in the room refused to obey, others followed. One act of resistance created a ripple effect. Moral courage is contagious, and sometimes all it takes is a single voice saying, "This isn't right." That's the formula that changes everything. The Milgram experiment didn't expose our cruelty. It exposed our fragility, our craving to feel safe, to be told we're doing the right thing. But the truth is, your gut knows. And when the moment comes, don't ask what's allowed. Ask what's right. Because monsters aren't born, they're made. And sometimes they're made with nothing more than a clipboard and a calm voice. Subscribe for more content like this.